Hello, it's Kenisha. I'm back with another video. It has been a minute since I've been on here, so hopefully I have some good stuff to tell you. But I just want to talk about kids today and how we have to teach them. I was thinking back to one of my little cousins. It was so funny. I'm like, Laura, you really got to teach kids. And most of the time we think, and we don't think that, but we realize it, that maturity, age doesn't equal maturity. And we oftentimes get upset with people because they don't act a certain way and they're a certain age. But we have to actually go back to the parenting and the people who were around them that didn't hold them accountable or didn't tell them what they needed to hear. And the Lord just brought this, I was about to say situation, but brought this memory back up to me when me and my little cousin were baking cookies. And so we have this big, I was baking a certain kind and he was baking a certain kind, and so he's helping me. And I think we were getting ready for an event, so I put the cookies in the oven. And I can't remember what it was exactly, but it's like we have a bunch of cookies, so this is the first batch I'm putting in the oven. So I put it in there, and then I run and go get dressed, and I come back and he's taking his pan out because the timer went off. But instead of him putting another one in there, he's just sitting there waiting. And I'm like, what are you doing? And you know, that's our first reaction. Like, don't you know, take these off and put the next ones on there. And I was like, okay, Lord, he does not know that. You are the one who's supposed to be teaching him. You know, that's what Lord reminded me. Like, you're supposed to be teaching him, okay, these are supposed to cool, so let them cool on the sheet for so long, and then take them off the sheet and put them on the cooling rack, and then put the next batch in the oven. But I was gone for like 30 minutes, and I was just so upset. Well, no, I wasn't, but I was just like, duh, and it's duh to someone who has done it already. Yes, duh. But to someone who has not, or someone who is learning, it's just like they don't know. And my pastor, he always talks about this. He said, my people perish. And that's what the Lord talks about. My people perish for lack of knowledge. And so we have to be careful when there are opportunities for us to teach our kids. We have to be careful and not get upset with them, but to actually teach them and show them, like, this is what you're supposed to do. Now, I'm not saying like they're going to go off and, not going to do exactly what you say, because of course some people just learn their own way. But it's just like, if they had that teaching moment, just like the Lord brought it back up to me, it was just like, you have to teach them, the same will happen to them. And they will realize, oh yeah, so-and-so told me about this, but I choose to do it my own way. And he's older, not my age, of course, but he's like in his teens, so you think like a teenager would know this, but he didn't know. And I had another situation with this baby. He's one, and he was throwing stuff on the ground, and I said, oh no, you gonna have to pick that up, sir. And it was just like, you gotta teach them young. You gotta teach them young, because then we get mad when they get older and they don't want to clean up behind themselves and stuff. And it's just like, because you have created the standard, and we have to realize that. I'm not saying, some people I know, they go too far and they're really hard on their kids, and the Lord has put them in their possession for a reason, so I can't speak on hard parenting, but I do speak on lack of parenting. And I guess you probably say, well, how you gonna speak on one and not the other? But lack of parenting does hurt, I feel like, more than probably a more disciplined one. And I know, to each their own, but still, because you get mad at them for not doing stuff, but you did not give them the tools that they needed to be able to succeed. So when you really look at it, it's not their fault. And I've talked about this before, where I'm just like, we have to be the ones who are instilling in our next generation. And we know that sometimes they don't want to listen, but these kids see, they learn by the example that is set forth. So even if you feel like they're not listening, they're looking at you and they're seeing what you're doing. And so we see that a lot of the things that the kids are doing are only imitating what older people are doing, that may not even be in the right, shouldn't be imitated, let's just say that. But we have to be that example and just lead with example, lead by being an example, but also, of course, use words if you have to. My other pastor, she says that too. But yeah, so the Lord just really brought that up to me, that we really have to teach our children. And I feel like more these days than than ever, because they have so much at their fingertips. They are exposed to so much, and so we have to make sure that we're instilling in them the qualities that we want them to have to go out and live, you know, their life when they're not under your roof anymore, or not even in your sphere of influence, because there is a season where someone may be in your influence and then the next season they're not. So make sure that you're being the influencer and not being influenced, especially if it's, you know, for the bad. If it's for the good, we want you to be the influencer always. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like I always say, sea cambio que quieres ver en otros. Until next time, bye.